Alright, so here it is. All the parts now fully separated from the trays. And color coded. Charcoal, dark blue, light blue with yellow, and clear. The white, and then the red. Some parts I didn't cut off because there were the extras, but eventually I'm going to cut them off and put them into storage for, you know, future builds and whatnot. And of course this tray here I didn't remove the parts because I have a feeling, you know, they're going to only expose a little bit of this, so I'll pick them off during the course of the build. Whether I should chrome them up, don't think so. It looks really good for what it is, but I may paint them just in case. I mean, the color for this plate, this is not a, let me see, I'm going to cut this off a bit. Is this a chrome colored part and then they just using, that's not the appropriate one to use. Let me cut it using a hobby knife, because then I could slice it off. And I have to say no. This is probably a white. This is a regular white base color, and then they applied chrome over it. So it's not a chrome coated. Or it's not a. How can I say this? It wasn't like they had chrome pellets and then they just molded this. This was actually regular plastic, and then they just chromed it up. So I think I'm going to probably do it. It looks very clean because I don't see that many warp markings on it. That's the one thing I'm noticing, because, you know, when you look at a specific part, you actually see in one aspect of the light, sometimes you'll see the warping of the part during the molding phase. So it's nice and smooth until you look at it really close, and then you see like that weird shape from the plastic itself. It's something you could only see from the naked eye, and that's why you want to paint it, because you want a nice even smooth coat of the paint. So I'll definitely repaint this, but I just need to see. I'm gonna have to figure that out. Each part, of course, has been separated. As you can see, there's a lot of charcoal here, really a lot. It is a big kit, so I should have thought of that. Blue, as I said before, there's the light blue, and then I'm just going to begin removing each of the, each of the nubs that's there. As a matter of fact, I'll just remove this one for now. Just a little bit, not too much. There we go. Then I'll just use the hobby knife. This is a new blade. And then just clean it off a little bit, not too much. Eventually, when I put them together and maybe glue, sand them down to keep it even. I just need to go through the manual and find out which parts I can actually get away with assembly and then painting it on its own, and then which parts has to be, left alone. Clearly, like the armored parts like this and this will probably be a separate piece, which will be not together with the overall kit, so that way I can paint them separate, while the others you have to assemble. Clearly the charcoal one, and I don't know about the blue or the red, but I have a distinct feeling that a majority of the parts that's going to be painted together will be the charcoal parts themselves. One interesting note, and this is probably covered a month ago. I don't read many people's reviews. I do watch their painting reviews, but I kind of like that the majority of kits of the parts that's here has some undergated parts, which is kind of interesting, because to undergate it, that means you open up the possibility of coming out as an expo kit or a limited edition kit, whether it's chrome plated or metallic or pearl, pearl clear or clear. Eventually it's going to happen. All this is going to be clear parts. They tend to do that, like a mechanical version of the kit. But yeah, so far I'm really enjoying. Even me removing these parts, I was looking at all these parts individually, and I said, I can't believe they were able to do something like this. And again, I have a lot of people telling me, you're really going to love this build, so I can't wait to get started. But first I'm going to have to begin cleaning. There's a lot of nubs out there that I need to clean up. And then I'm going to wash it after I'm clean. Alright, so give me some time to work on this, and we'll move on to the next stage. So I'm in the midst of cleaning up each and every one of these parts, and during that time I was reviewing the manual again. And obviously the first thing you build is the core fighter, and I said to myself, let me build it and see how it comes out. And I didn't realize, and I didn't comment in the last videos, that you not only get one core fighter, you get two. Here's all the core parts that make up the core fighter. And here's the second core fighter already assembled with the little pilot there. It's pretty nice. Kind of like that. Not a big fan of the fact that this is all clear, which doesn't make any sense. But whatever. Cool little fighter. It reminds me of the fighter that I built. The original core fighter from the Double Zeta. I had the model kit for a long time of the little core fighter, but I don't know where it is anymore. But reviewing all these parts, and I'm about to clean them up, I didn't realize the fact that, okay, you know what, I can't just assemble them and then I'm going to have to now mask. I'm going to mask this off so I can paint that, mask this off to paint that and all that stuff. So I'm glad that each part is individually its own color, and I don't have to worry about redoing the paint job. The one thing that I'm a bit weirded out, I mean, painting this is not going to be a problem. Each part will be painted individually, so that's kind of cool. The one thing that it threw me off here, and let me see if the manual shows it, is right there. The inside of the intakes, these is all red. So I guess I gotta paint the inside of that red, then mask it off, and then paint everything white on the outside. That shouldn't be an issue right there. Just gotta. That can be a little time consuming in one aspect, but I don't think that's an issue right there. Then of course, the whole purpose of having two core fighters, which is cool, is so you can display both the core base and core top. Actually, is it core base? Yeah, core base. Yeah, you put this for the core base. I don't know why, because I don't remember this being on the core top. Oh, whatever. You get two fighters. Cool. And then of course to transform it, push these in, then flip this down, and there you go. That connects directly. That's the bridge to the excuse me, to the torso and waist unit of the Double Zeta Gundam. I used to think I remember this was a little bit more whiter, but it seems fair. This one I'm not fond of this because you can pop it out too easy, but it is what it is. Yeah, the transformation is cool. Not bad. Not bad at all. I always did like the fighters of this. So that's kind of cool. I'm going to begin cleaning up everything, sand it down. I have to take that apart because I just assembled it just so you could see it. There's not that many areas that's going to be difficult for me to clean. I mean, this part here needs to be sanded down with the blue, so I'm going to sand the blues first before I sand the charcoal. There are parts here on the edges that needs to be sanded down, so I have to worry about that. And the assembly of the canopy, and the cockpit area, that's actually not bad. The only thing is that this part here needs to be sanded down, so you may have to smooth it out a bit soon. Cool. So far so good. Let me continue on and we'll review other parts during this build. So right now I'm in the midst of putting together the inner frame, and I just wanted to stop for a moment to discuss a few things. Some parts, like in the area of the chest, are not something that is how can I say this? It's very loose in a way, because you definitely need to have the armored parts over it so it can flip and turn and all that stuff. Without the armor, it will not hold into place, and that's, you know. But I'm leaving it this way so that way I can get a grasp at how it looks overall. Granted, with the core fighter, this will go right through here, so it will hold it up like so, as you can see. But I'll do that later. And just reviewing like where I can start painting and where it will be exposed. I'll definitely probably end up doing like a one pass over it, but not in areas that it needs to be concentrated. I'll concentrate on, like, you know, like this part's here, which shows the these things here, which I know there's just two things that goes through there, and you got that. And and some parts are so small and insignificant that you don't need to paint. Like this part here that goes like this, there are these two little notches here, which I have no idea what they are or what they do. They must have a specific function, maybe during transformation. So somebody's going to probably tell me, yeah, it does this and it does that. Well, I'll get to that in a moment. But for now, I'm not going to paint it, so I don't know how significant it would be during the assembly. The one thing that I'm a little disappointed, but maybe how it looks is weird, is the actual assembly of the head. And I see that one came off, so I'm going to keep it off. And take off that poly cap. So this is the head, the front faceplate of the head, of the head. And the only thing I have to worry about is the spraying painting the cheeks and then the eyelids over here, or the the side of the eyes. Excuse me. I'm glad that there is a clear part. Is there a clear part? I believe there is, that you can stick through there for the eyes. So I was actually thinking of, do I have to do a reverse wash or something like that? But no, I don't have to. It's already prepared. And then the polycap that goes through here, there's another part that goes back here, but it's not a charcoal part. It's actually the back of the head. So I'm kind of a little disappointed of seeing something like that. And I don't know if this is far back all the way, because putting that here and how it looks in the head, I don't know. I'm not feeling it. Maybe I did it wrong, but I'll have to review it again in a moment. With the this gun, I started working on the arms, and surprisingly, I like how the design is, especially when you open this up, and then you open this up, and you flip this around to put away the thruster, and then you have the hole, so you could put, you know, the manipulator hand. I didn't pull it out yet to put it on, but I'll do that later. And now I have to think about how I'm going to work on this. Most likely, it will be taken apart, and the only thing that I'll be painting would be the joints here and here, because I know that this part may need to be painted from the inside, and there are sections here and here that need to be painted, but I don't need to paint the rest, or maybe I do, but I could take it apart, because obviously I don't want to mask this whole thing off just to paint, you know, so later on I can paint this white. So this can actually be taken apart, and I don't have to worry about it. Other parts, this one's easy to paint, should be no problem. This is the part that actually puts on the slanted wing shoulder blades. So that's kind of cool. The one thing that I was a bit surprised was this, the assembly of the leg itself. Now, this was the one that I was a bit worried about, saying to myself, how, will there be a problem with me assembling this and then transforming it? Now, parts can be shift like this, open and closed like that. And obviously, like areas like here, these two parts can be removed so I can paint the back and the edges, because when you put the white parts over it, there's some detail that sticks out. But I was impressed with the fact that you can actually, the transformation sequence is easy. So if I'm not mistaken, we pull this out like that, then flip it about like so. I may be doing this whole thing wrong. You know, this one turns. Yeah, I think I'm doing this wrong. So if that goes up to there... Oh, you know what I did wrong? Because this goes on a railing system. Ah, look at that. Just discovered it now. Well, no. How the hell does that work? Because you do have the trim part. So does that mean the trim part is in the reverse section of this kit? Let's find out. Alright, so let's see. Oh yeah, it does that. Okay. So you flip this about. I may be messing this up. Maybe it's have to turn. You know what? I'm messing this up completely, and I know somebody's going to tell me you're doing it wrong. I'll figure this out. I'm not gonna. I wasn't actually planning to do this transformation right now. This was just as the spur of the moment. So okay, I discovered that this has to be on this side. Then that means that has to be on the flip side. I'll have to review that again later on. Okay, but the legs are cool, strong. Just I'll have to figure out the transformation, and I'll have to read the review. I didn't build the assembly of this yet, or the waist unit that I'm still working on. I'm still cleaning parts. So let me continue on, and let's see how this kit looks like overall. Inner frame, that is.